from UKIP, the prospective parliamentary candidate for Hartlepool as well. Okay, and very much somebody I've been watching on Facebook and what have you, is the next person I'd like to introduce is from the Green Party, again the prospective parliamentary candidate for Hartlepool, Mr. Michael Holt. Michael.
I feel like Evita here. Right. So, promises. Oh, thank you very much. Promises are an important thing in politics. When you think about Nick Clegg, the first thing you think about is tuition fees. That pledge is going to follow him to his grave. What I don't understand is why the same doesn't apply to David Cameron. You shouldn't be able to think David Cameron without thinking NHS privatisation. He didn't just sign a little pledge. The Tories spent hundreds of thousands of pounds on a billboard campaign up and down the country with David Cameron's airbrushed egghead saying, "I'll cut the deficit, not the NHS. No more top-down reorganisation." Pretty much straight away he gets into power and he slashes the NHS across the throat. It was nowhere in the Tory manifesto, it was nowhere in the Lib Dem manifesto. They had no mandate to privatise our NHS. The NHS is Britain's greatest achievement. Just think about how elitist our society would be, how elitist our society is becoming now. Just imagine how elitist it would be if we didn't have it. It's scary stuff. Why do we have the NHS in the first place? Look at the monuments. We're only allowed to have the NHS because of the terrible sacrifices that the British people made during 2 world wars. The people who survived that period wanted to build a better world out of the rubble. I remember David Cameron rocking up to the cenotaph on Remembrance Sunday, solemnly faced, talking about how much he valued the sacrifice those soldiers made. If he genuinely respected the sacrifice they made, he wouldn't be destroying the institution they fought and died for. When you think David Cameron, you should think NHS privatisation, NHS privatisation, NHS privatisation. I believe we need to take responsibility for our society and our country again. I went to a meeting with members of the NHS Trust this week. I know Foster and Garvin don't do themselves any favours, but the truth is they're not actually in control of the situation. The decision about the future of the NHS in Hartlepool isn't being made till after May, because it's totally in the hands of the British public and the government they choose to elect. We need to expand the scope of what is possible with our NHS. We need to give our brilliant staff the breathing room they need to save the service from dying. I'm standing for the Green Party. I'm sure many of you think the Greens are just a bunch of tree huggers and wacky-backy smokers. You'd only be half right. The fact is, the reason I support the Greens is because they have the strongest commitment to the NHS of any of the parties. We want a full, publicly run and funded service, no privatisation, no marketisation, no compromise. We are a wealthy country. If the rich paid their taxes, we could afford the service we need. We paid out £1 trillion in state welfare when the banks tanked our economy in 2008. To put that into perspective, we could have built Wynyard Hospital 3,846 times over for that price. The second their backers in the city run into trouble, money is no object. While politicians gamble with the lives of people from Hartlepool as we wait years and years for a hospital that we are told we can't afford. That's what pisses me off the most about UKIP. They tell us all our problems with the NHS are caused by immigrants and that we can't afford it and we need to move to private insurance, while Nigel Farage has big dinners with his banker mates in the city to fund his campaign. I am proud that NHS campaigners, like all of you, up and down the country, forced UKIP into changing their stance on the NHS. They knew they would be unelectable if they went into the election praising privatisation. I would just like to say to Nigel, do you think we're stupid? We know that you'd throw the NHS under the bus in a heartbeat if it meant UKIP could get into a coalition with the Tories. Whatever your preconception about the Green Party, don't just go off what the media's told you. Go to the website and read our policies on the NHS. If you believe we need to reinstate the NHS, get tax-avoiding companies and individuals to pay their fair share, and keep the NHS out of the EU trade deal TTIP that would make reversing NHS privatisation illegal, then please get involved with the Greens. We need all the support we can get. Help to make us the opposition party that this town sorely needs. Thanks very much.
I want to say the one and only Green Party representative, Mr. Michael Holt. Ladies and gents.